right, welcome to Gen X Rated, Saturday edition. How we doing, guys?
Good. Made it to the weekend.
Maybe what? I'm sorry?
I said made it to the weekend.
Oh, nicely done. Geno?
I'm in the middle of making Irish beef and Guinness stew, motherfuckers. What do you want?
That explains the cap.
We were going to come back to that, Gene, your menu for today.
Which I like, man. It looks good.
I'll pause for you guys. So, all right, I'm here. What's up?
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not too much. Figured we'd look at some of the bigger highlights today briefly on this guy, just because it seems to be turmoil all the time. The only thing I really wanted to mention about him was the tariffs. As soon as they announced the tariffs today at 2 o'clock Eastern time, the Dow was down by 3 o'clock, 350 points. I haven't checked since then. The tariffs will be 25% on Mexico and Canada and 10% on China. Again, briefly, I know the president knows all about tariffs, and that's amazing. What are your guys' thoughts on that before I list what this will affect?
You know what? Here's the thing, dude. If I have good neighbors that I like, that I trust, I've never had a problem with, why am I fucking with them? Why do I want to just blatantly mess with them?
Yeah.
Why? Especially when, they're good neighbors, man. They've got things that I need. Maybe I've got things that they need. We trade, we get along, help each other out. This guy makes no sense. He makes literally no sense at all.
It is. And just to list a few things that we get from Canada, because part of his statement was the fact that we don't need anybody, isolationism, we got all the oil we need. But the reality is that we get about 71% of our crude oils imported from both Canada and Mexico. Canada basically supplies us with 60% of our crude oil. Quick list, also from Canada. Now keep in mind, you'll be paying 25% more on all these items: eggs, beef, pork, salmon, cheese, butter, wheat, oats, barley, apples, potatoes, maple syrup, of course, whiskey and beer. I figured I'd save the best for last. Really quickly, in Mexico, you'll notice a trend here, a lot of fruits and vegetables, avocados, tomatoes, bell peppers, cucumbers, strawberries, limes, mangoes, blueberries, bananas, grapes, corn, beans, beef, pork, shrimp, cheese, again, tequila, and back to beer. I don't know how many of you like Mexican beer, but
I enjoy the Modelo.
Me too. Modelo Negro, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot for us to pick up the slack on. I'm not sure who benefits from this other than Trump looks tough.
Yeah. And, hey, if you had to Google tariffs after you voted for this guy, you fucked around and we're all going to find out. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Pretty insane. Wow. I will also add that they're still looking into the tragedy that happened the other day. We're not really looking for that many answers. We're just still finger pointing. And the press secretary keeps coming back to the fact that most of this is common sense. So
that press secretary fucks a 60-year-old and she's 27 years old. She has no common sense. So fuck her.
Well, because she's a dolt. You want to talk about DEI hiring? There's somebody that got hired because of their race, their age, their appearance, their blonde hair and blue eyes. There is no intelligence. Their
willingness to bang someone as old as Trump. There's lots of fucking reasons.
Well, that fits right in with when you interview for a job with this administration. You have to tell them when your MAGA moment was, like what really got you to want to be part of this this movement. And that to me is super creepy.
Yeah, when I realized I could get ahead by giving head.
It could all just be intestinal parasites. I was watching the thing today. Apparently we all need to start taking wormwood and shit and mirth, or is it what's that, frankincense and myrrh? Because if you eat sushi, you're filled with parasites. If you eat lots of undercooked shit, you're filled. I have no idea if it's true or not, but I often wonder if these people are being controlled by parasites. You see in the wild, parasites just taking over the body of something and having it walk down and get itself killed so the parasite can infest another species. Or I'm just wondering if they're all filled with parasites and making bad decisions. And Trump, the whole tariff thing, this is simple shit. Trump's a fucking third grader. The reason he says tariff is because that's a word he can remember, and he knows it's associated with U.S. history somewhere down there.
But he has no idea what they actually are.
He doesn't know how the economy works. He doesn't know how the stock market works. He doesn't know how any of that shit works. He's, it's a Nepo baby guy that failed upward over and over again and became a reality television star to save his ass, or he would have been on the fucking street. He literally had no fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
And they morphed that into a presidency where now he's grifting billions of dollars.
Yeah.
That doesn't make him smart. I guess, I guess he's successful now, but the dude uses the word, he uses MAGA because he could remember it, because Ronald Reagan used to say, make America great again. And they realized this guy can only remember so much shit. So anything he repeats over and over again, this is shit they put into his brain that he can fucking remember, and he'll just repeat it over and over again. The dude literally knows nothing.
Well,
Not that I'm a fucking economist, but this dude literally knows nothing about how the global economy works. So he just says the word fucking tariff, and he says tariffs are fucking good because he's simple, dude. He's a simple motherfucker. I'm just wondering if it was parasites or not. That's all.
Dude, I think we're giving parasites a bad name because he is a parasite. He is the very definition of something that enters into the bloodstream and just sucks the life out of it, which he's done. Not that he did it single-handedly, and a lot of people weren't ready to be receptive to that message, but he is by definition a parasite. And on a side note, dude, I've got like half of those symptoms. So I think all that gas station sushi I've been eating has maybe caught up with me.
That's why he's so thin, dude. That the tapeworm, and oligarchs are like fucking tapeworms too. They're all fucking parasites. They go into your fucking body and they drain your fucking money, and you get skinnier and skinnier, poor and fucking poor. They're just like fucking tapeworms. They're all fucking parasites.
Yeah,
so I agree with you on that, Bill. But go get that shit checked out for fuck's sake, and quit eating gas station fucking sushi. What's wrong with you? That's gross as hell.
And avoid the grocery store sushi too.
But yeah, he's a simple motherfucker, dude. Tariff.
And to your point, he read his apology. He read his statement yesterday off a piece of paper. Clearly, he had practiced it a dozen times, and then he still came out in front of the American public and read it, and then read it again, to your point, like a fourth grader, because when you read it the second time, then you start to kind of comprehend what it is. Real smart guy.
Smartest.
Simple motherfucker.
I want to see how he does with this woman, because she's a fuck around her and find out her. Canada's pushing back too. So this is not going to be an easy thing. I think he picked a fight with the wrong people. This woman has, the president of Mexico has an 80% approval, and she's not taking any shit.
You realize she's going to trick him into fucking rolling the dice on California, and he's going to fucking lose, and Mexico's going to get that shit back too. He's a fucking idiot. I'm just telling you right now, she's way fucking smarter than that fucking moron. So,
for sure. You're right about that.
You're 100% right on that. And then she has an 80% approval rating. I did not know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. They're behind her 100%.
And as far as Canadians are concerned, I mean, they are the nicest, most polite people on earth. But you and I have played hockey up there. They do not fuck around. They will, they will carve your liver out with a stick, a hockey stick. They are, don't fuck with the Canadians.
I wouldn't. And they have more long rifles than we do in this country. So be aware.
Oh, and just as a fun fact, there's plenty of them over here on overstayed visas right now, but we don't ever check the fucking northern fucking border. Just so you know, Trump only cares about a certain type of immigration. It's not immigration per se. It's a certain type. And, a lot of people that aren't cis white gender males kind of have a fucking problem with that. So, that's why we're talking about it.
You make a valid point. I did want to continue to update on that crash. This person, Joe Ellis, was labeled as the pilot of the Black Hawk helicopter, taking a lot of heat from right-wing sources.
Oh, yeah.
Not a fact, but of course, because this person's trans, it's all about her being the problem. Nothing's been substantiated, but she's had to come out and defend herself against death threats.
You know how twisted it is that I couldn't name an Apache helicopter pilot in the entire world, but these MAGA fucking turds had her in their Rolodex for when an incident came up, they could fucking blame her for some shit because she flies Apache helicopters. You know how fucking twisted that is? That these fucking fools from Project 2025 and all these MAGA cult members do shit to people like this. It's fucking twisted, man.
And
they're
again,
a bunch of ghouls.
we'll try not to get too deep into this, but you brought up Project 2020, 2025. Part of that was to gut the FAA, run it like a business. You've already given examples of parasites, which is basically what hedge funds do. They suck the life out of a company, trash it, and then move on after taking all the resources.
Which NFL team did a hedge fund just buy a minority stake in? Was it Carolina? Was it the Panthers?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, well, hopefully they wouldn't do that with since you have 31 other billionaires in that club. Maybe they wouldn't allow that. I did want to circle back to Caroline with the K. Levitt, the press secretary. You pointed out that she's 27. When she starts talking about historical things that happened a decade ago, let's just say under Obama, you're looking at 12 years ago. Tell me her age.
When she was 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she was quite the astute political observer at the age of 15.
I just wonder if her husband, allegedly, of course, if she was on his fucking radar back then, you know? That's fucking weird. That's weird. But
a little creepy.
Well, I'm a middle-aged man, and I'm telling the world that's fucking creepy. Yeah, we have no business fucking marrying, getting pregnant, or sleeping with, or even fucking kissing on the cheek a 27-year-old of the opposite sex. That's fucking gross. And what the fuck do you have in common with that fucking bubblehead anyway? Yeah, I'm not calling her
both MAGA.
She's fucking blonde. I'm calling her a bubblehead because I've listened to her for 7 fucking days, and she's a fucking moron. And these are just facts.
She's very condescending in her talk. She still doesn't understand that she represents all of us. I think that's the key.
None of them do. They don't care, dude. It's completely us against them.
Yeah.
They don't care. That's why DEI keeps being brought up. They will try to drive a wedge between women and minorities and all people that are not cisgender white dudes. It's disgusting. I don't think people are actually going to fucking fall for it because there's
I don't think so either.
All these my producer Melissa and my wife was telling me today that these people that are getting these offers to leave the government are all like, nah, fuck that, we're staying and we're fucking fighting.
Good.
So it's not even going to be the congressmen, it's not even going to be the senators, it's not even going to be the governors, maybe some governors. It's going to be us. It's just going to be normal people, civil servants, postal fucking workers, people that write our social security checks. They're the ones that are going to have to be fucking defiant. And clearly, if he can't fire him, that's why he's offering him a buyout. So they fucking know the law better than this motherfucker does.
But the Treasury woman that would not allow Elon to have all the information on their payment processing through the Treasury was escorted away from work. Mm-hmm. She was not going to leave, and the security came and did haul her out.
That's the way it's gonna have to be done, though. I mean,
good for her.
They said it was the same email that he sent when he took over Twitter.
Oh, really?
And they said none of those Twitter people got paid.
Wow.
It's not a buyout if you don't actually pay them. It's
the other thing is he came back the next day after all that heat from so many different sources and said that they rescinded that order. What they rescinded was the briefing. They didn't stop what they were doing because I saw people went back and tried to get into their portals. They did not have access to it. So he did rescind the memo, but he didn't stop what the memo was doing.
Yeah, well, it's blatantly unconstitutional and illegal. You can't do that. And that was tested during the Nixon administration because Nixon tried to pull some of that shit and he was soundly rebuked. It is unconstitutional and it is illegal. You can't do that. But do we still
do the Constitution? Because if you heard the press secretary, they don't really care. It's more about what the Attorney General thinks and White House counsel thinks, less about that stupid piece of paper.
You saw the White House counsel last time around with this guy when he was, clearly losing the election, and they're telling him, "Oh, I'd go for it. No, this is good." It's like that time when I was like 20 and trying to get a drink using the world's worst fake ID. It was like a full-length shot from the waist up, clearly fake. My name was Andre Sand. And it's a crowded bar at a ski resort, right? On a Friday night. The bartender takes my ID. I'll be right back. And I'm like, oh shit. My buddy's like, no, Billy, stick to your guns. Stick to your guns, Billy. They're not going to do anything. The manager came back and he said, "Hey, I'm keeping this. You have two choices. You can leave right now, or I'm calling the cops." "Oh, Billy, stick to your guns. He's not calling the cops." Yeah, guess who ended up in the back of a cop car in an interrogation room?
Andre Sand?
Yeah. All right, Andre Sand, what's your real name?
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah, you can call yourself White House counsel. You can call yourself barroom pontification buddy. It doesn't mean you're right or you know what you're talking about.
You're right about that. Well, that's going to be it for your update on Trump and his gaslighting. The information's out there. Continue to gather it. And as people, we're going to have to get ourselves together as a group because we're on our own. On a little
Gen X knows about being on our own.
On a little lighter topic, I thought maybe I'd bring up
Jeez,
Tucker.
Eddie Munster, all grown up.
Well, he's been accused of not being the nicest person at a massage establishment, shall we say?
Eddie Munster wouldn't have pulled that shit. He was raised.
Well, who is
this
he?
guy.
Who are we talking about?
This is Justin Tucker, Pro Bowl, not this year, but one of the best kickers in recent times. Came out of the University of Texas. He was a rookie in 2012, and apparently that's when this started. Between 2012 and 2016, he was accused by 6 different massage therapists of inappropriate things at the establishment. As I said, a couple of them were just the issue was, and you can see the 1 minute he's putting up there. He would finish. They didn't really see it coming or expect it.
I see what you did there.
Rob's trying to be a dad. He knows his kids listen to this podcast. You mean he's prematurely coming all over himself?
Or ejaculating, I think might be the term.
And apparently it only took 1 minute.
So he just likes to expose himself quite a bit. And then he would ask for, maybe massage the pelvic area and inner thighs, which would be okay if you didn't have a boner. They had to kind of draw the line.
So he would come early to provide his own massage oil and say, "Continue, please." More or less.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Sounds about right.
So
let me guess. If I went and looked up this motherfucker's political affiliation, he's not going to be a registered Democrat.
He's an amazing Christian, okay?
I can guarantee it because only fucking MAGAs do freaky shit like that and marry 60-year-olds when they're fucking in their 20s and whatever.
And he does unequivocally deny everything. I mean, of course.
Fuck you, dude. And I better fucking see the same energy from all you white folk that I saw for Deshaun Watson, which hasn't fucking stopped. And even though Deshaun Watson has ruined 3 years of my fucking life watching the fucking Browns, that doesn't fucking, you guys don't get away with fucking shitting on him and not giving me that same energy for this Christian white boy. I don't fucking want to hear it. And God knows what the Kansas City Chiefs guy is allegedly fucking doing. Because he had a lot of free time with a knee surgery himself. God only knows. Kickers, I mean, I'm just saying. I wish Bill, God, I wish he worked for the Chiefs because we could have all sorts of dirty inside information. You had such great access, Bill. I'm very disappointed that you decided to get out of that shit and live your life. You should have stayed. You should have stayed in that fucking grind.
Could have written a book.
Have all the good insider information, so he and I could get famous doing a podcast while you fed us all this shit.
Seriously,
dude. I'm telling you.
What were you thinking?
You had to fucking
the equipment
move to
staff.
California. You had to fucking then move to St. Louis. You had to be a fucking uncle, and now I have to do research on my own, and I'm disappointed.
I know. I let us all down, and I apologize. I mean,
thank you.
The equipment staff are the eyes and the ears of an institution. They see everything.
You stole that line from fucking.
I did. You should get it.
Fucker. You can't get that past me. Those are all my wife's favorite movies. Yeah, that's true. You guys know every fucking thing about everybody.
You see it, Dave. You see them at their best. You see them at their worst.
And you've done a really good job, by the way, you two, of not shitting on the people you worked with. That's another code to being an equipment manager is you know all this shit and you guys don't run out and write a fucking book and tell all the fucking nasty shit you know on people, which is that's a rare quality any fucking where everyone's trying to fucking get famous. Everybody's trying to make a buck. Everybody's in it for themselves. God only knows what some of these guys are going to retire, these younger generations, when they retire, what they're going to write about. Because I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, you generally, there were very few players that I disliked personally. Very few.
For sure. Most of them are
Yeah,
pretty cordial.
team sports are different, man. Team sports, it's not fucking like individual tennis or individual golf. It's like
Bowling.
you have to learn how to fucking get along at 6 years old, and you really bond, and you bond with people from different religions and different colors, and sometimes there's girls on your team, and it's not so bad. And yeah, I know, dude. When you're a little kid, you never know.
For sure.
Caitlin Clark played nothing but boys basketball because they didn't have enough girls teams in Des Moines back in the day. That's why she's so fucking good.
And she dominated.
So yeah, you guys did a really good job of not selling people out. I'm sure they all appreciate that shit. Because it's hard. I mean, in today's fucking world, dude, with cell phones and shit, forget about it. I mean,
that's true.
Oh yeah.
Well, and just you talked about team sport. I think that becomes kind of a part of your fabric as to who you are. I see a lot of older boomers. They like to cycle, which that's great, good exercise, whatever. But a lot of times it's an $8,000 bike. You got these 70-year-olds in Spanducci, which
ridiculous
I
outfits.
prefer not to see, but Lance
Get
wore
the fuck out of my bike lane, motherfucker! They yell at you.
So you're on the sidewalk.
Plus, I don't want to see your junk, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The only thing I was going to say was that I tend to find that those people maybe didn't play team sports because you're going to bike 25 miles. You're by yourself. Now, maybe if you're listening to something, fine. But a lot of times you'll see them maybe with a spouse or a friend. What are you having conversation? It's not like the motorcycle thing where you can talk back through your mic. It's a solo sport. I really appreciate the team part of it because, then you get into other sports. We play, adult rec hockey, whatever, the camaraderie. The locker room, it's certainly not at the level of professionals, obviously, but it's still a comforting feeling and it makes you part of a group. And that's, as a nation, how we got to get back to the team sports. Get off your fucking expensive bike pedaling 30 miles by yourself and have a conversation with your fucking neighbor.
Yeah, well, get to know somebody. I mean, dude, perfect example. We knew a guy. We don't know him anymore. He's packed up and moved away, but big cyclist, right? Played with him for a year, shitty teammate. Didn't hang out, wasn't popular in the locker room, was not a team guy, didn't play a good team game. I mean, that was a perfect example right there. That guy was better off in an individual sport, cycling and giving off his weird opinions.
Too, right? He was happiest by himself.
Happiest could be, but he was a horrible teammate. He didn't pass, didn't play a team game, brought nothing to the locker room, never brought beer. And he knew how to instigate people. He knew how to push their buttons and ask them pointed questions and just upset people. Like nobody wanted to see this guy.
He's better off on a bike, probably. That's personality based. Some people are just better with individual sports.
Yeah, they're called narcissists.
My daughter, we could never. She would have been a fantastic tennis player, fantastic golfer, but we could never get her in an individual sport to showcase any of her talent because she's a social butterfly. So she wanted to be out on the soccer field fucking talking to her friends while playing. She wanted to be surrounded by people. That's personality based. She wanted
Which is great.
Yeah, I think it's good too.
My son, he could do either or, he could be individual track athlete, but it's kind of a team sport, or on a football team, and he wrestled too. So, which is also a team sport, but it's kind of an individualistic. It's in between.
Sure. It's still a team. It's a wrestling team.
It's definitely still.
Oh yeah.
So it's different than being, on the ATP and being a tennis player or something.
I mean, they were all taking suppositories and trying to make weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
Team effort.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite suppository, Rob?
I'm sorry?
I just asked what your favorite suppository was. And then I gave you a smoker's cough.
I don't really have one.
Yeah, you do. It's called your finger. Shut up. Let's go.
Whoa.
Hey, man, it's the weekend. I'm trying to keep it light.
Well, what was that episode? It was in one of the first seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Never seen it.
Where he had itchy butthole?
It was
you made producer Melissa laugh on that one. Itchy butthole.
It was the episode called Porno Gill. Right?
Okay.
Dude from Better Call Saul. What's his name?
Yeah, that was the one where he said, he has.
Oh, I can keep it
Larry
up.
has an
Keep it
itchy
up for hours.
butthole.
The trick is just shove a chili pepper up your ass.
Who said that?
Porno Gil, the character in it was
The
an old
chili pepper
episode of
stops the itch. A chili pepper up your ass stops the itch. Is that what you're saying?
No, he said it kept him hard.
Oh, he says. But I thought that episode where the woman said that he had an itchy butt, and he was like, "I don't have an itchy butt," and he was at the doctor. Saul was in there too. Better Call Saul. No.
Yeah, he played Porno Gil. The guy was having a dinner party where they got lost going to, and then Larry, what did he do? He broke
Did they
their
pretend
collection.
to show up the next night? Oh, that was Ted Danson's house. Never mind.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question? What is it
Sure.
about that show that you liked? Because I just never even bothered.
Just kind of cringy. I mean, Larry makes things uncomfortable, almost like Michael Scott at The Office, which I just can't get enough of.
Yeah, a more malevolent version of Michael Scott.
I got you. You just like the
Michael-
cringe. The
Michael
cringe
Scott
factor.
just wanted to love and be loved.
Is that what you think it was?
Yeah, Larry David was just he was a guy that literally had fuck you money. He could say he said and did what he thought.
Right. No, I'm with
But he
you.
did call out a lot of those little foibles that annoy us.
I'm more of a two broke girls kind of fucking guy. I'm sorry. I'm just simple. I just want my shit
What
simple.
about Two Guys and a Pizza Girl? Anybody?
That was
No,
a good show.
no. I like we're watching The Big Bang Theory after not watching it for several years. We watched all the Friends episodes over and over again. We're just going back to the 90s sitcoms in the early 2000s and rewatching them over and over again and realizing that every sitcom is
It's
based on
copied
every
off something else.
sitcom. Yeah, it's just a ripoff. Like,
I took a class in college about sitcoms, and it was Confessions of a sitcom
Right.
junkie.
oh,
And it
okay.
was fucking awesome. But you're right, and it
Huh.
started with like the Rockford Files and all those type of shows, all modeled off themselves. Same thing with comedy.
Every episode, like we'll watch a Big Bang episode, like whatever's coming on today. I go, Melissa, that's fucking season 7 from Friends when Rachel, Sheldon's chasing a pigeon around in his apartment. I'm like, fucking Rachel was chasing a pigeon around in her apartment in season 3. It's just these little mixes and matches that I can just match up fucking episodes from the Big Bang Theory and Friends. They're all the same fucking thing. And same thing with Two Broke Girls. And then they bring a kid in, somebody gets pregnant, and they bring a kid into the mix. And it's all the same.
And you know the show's on its last legs, right?
Right, exactly.
When Ted Ginley comes in, you know it's over.
Exactly. Even Modern Family, they brought another fucking kid on. Fucking Al Bundy and Sofia Vergara have another fucking kid in the end. So it's like
Joe. And that was the beginning of the end.
right. Two more years. Yeah, 2 more years, basically. Yeah.
He's kind of a cute kid, but was it necessary?
And how
I'm waiting
old is
for-
he?
By the way, do you guys watch Stranger Things or no?
Watch the first season.
Yes.
That's it? Oh my God. They're gonna be like 40 when they come back for this last season. But Melissa and I invested all of our time in the few seasons they did put out. So apparently they just wrapped up filming. So I didn't know if you guys watched that. That one got me. I wasn't expecting to fucking like it, and I didn't watch it when it first came out. I waited a couple years.
Yeah.
And we just binge watched that motherfucker. It's like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. But
Those kids are all Xers, right?
First season was awesome.
those aren't they're all millennials. They're all Gen Zers, aren't they, Melissa?
Aren't they? I thought did it take
Bobby
place in the
Brown's
80s?
21 years old. No, they were all no, it's a flashback to the 80s.
Yeah.
And the characters are Gen X. Yes, all the characters.
Yeah.
100%. And then of course, yes. And they have Winona Ryder in there to co-sign that shit, playing the mom of all the Gen Xers. But the kids themselves are Gen Zers playing.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's one of the things. That first season was really good, and one of the things I liked about it was that we could relate to it. We had a single mom, and that's kind of how
I can't believe you guys didn't watch more fucking than one season because
Dude, I just lost track of it.
Yeah, and I was told the second season wasn't as good, and then
get off your high horse, bitch. Just watch
I can't
it.
believe everything you hear.
It was fine. Just power watch that shit. You'll get through it.
Did you watch Arrested Development?
No. Should I have?
Yeah, Cole started watching it for years. I'm like, Cole, you would love this show. This is totally your sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
He refused because he can't stand Jason Bateman. He's like, I hate that guy's face. But
Really?
I was
He's
hanging.
a great Gen Xer.
I know, right? I was hanging out with Cole last night, and we finished up a short series that we were watching. It was called American something something. I don't know. It took place in the Old West. It was really good, but he pulled up Arrested Development. He'd been watching it on the sly.
Oh, cool.
He recently started watching it. Dude, that show is hilarious. I forgot how funny that was.
I mean,
Well written, great characters.
And Dodgeball is worth a watch. His character alone in Dodgeball is fucking great. Fucking A, Kyle. Fucking A.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic. So,
dude, I guess his sister Justine is a big MAGA.
Oh, is she?
yeah, I know, and I was surprised to see that this year. Like, why?
I know.
Who was she mad at?
I have no idea, but so apparently, and more power to her. You know, she's not fighting the Hollywood age battle. She's kind of let herself age naturally.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
And somebody put up a very unflattering picture of her on Twitter.
Sure.
And somebody posted in response, they posted a picture of her brother who looks great. And they're like, yeah, you know what? This is what MAGA does to your face. This is what being a left-leaning, moderate, liberal person does. And look who looks a lot better and whose career is actually still going.
I bet you Jason's had some work.
Absolutely.
He's a little vain, so. But yeah, I mean, she's just aging naturally. It's no big deal. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Zoe in the aging process.
No, geez.
Ooh, that's not a compliment.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying she reminded me.
That's all that build up resentment.
I'm not even saying who the fuck
out.
Zoe is, motherfucker. I'm just saying she reminds me of Zoe a little bit. You don't have to
just to circle back, we talked a little bit yesterday about fitness and some diet. After these tariffs came out with all the prices of everything that's going to be more expensive. Gene, you told me this morning that you were working on a Guinness stew. I was hoping maybe you could share that with your expertise on cooking.
Share what? How to do it?
Yes, and the recipe. I know there's bacon involved, chicken broth, Guinness beer, obviously, onion, bay leaves, thyme, garlic, tomato paste, flour, carrots, and celery. What's the meat?
Always chuck roast for me because it has fat in it and fat is flavor. But I mean, if you don't want the fat, you can use round. Any tough cut of fucking meat that's on sale.
Are you processing are you cooking the meat slowly so it just falls apart, or?
First of all, don't buy stew meat that's already cut up because that means someone's had their hands on it.
All over it.
Right. So anytime you can get a whole chunk. I'm not talking about the one time you did it, Melissa. Really, my wife looks at me like, yeah, that's about that one time. No, I'm just saying, you buy a whole cut. Anytime you buy a whole anything, whole fruit, whole pineapple, you don't know where their fucking hands have been.
Sure.
So, always buy a whole cut if you can.
And what are you buying? A 2-pound piece of chuck?
2.5 to 3 pounds, because you might, and 3 pounds usually because you might be trimming some fat off. I know Rob's going to trim all the
Absolutely, I was doing
all
some
the
trimming.
chewies off are going to go away. And you keep that shit up, and there's like lots of different ways to make stew. The only difference on this stew is you're using a can of Guinness beer in it.
16 ounces?
Yeah, you brown the meat. Some people put flour on the meat because they want to make a thicker stew, but some people feel like that's going to burn the bottom of the pan, so they just hold 3 tablespoons of flour and they mix it in when they mix in the Guinness and the
chicken broth.
Chicken broth. A little tomato.
Why wouldn't you use beef broth with that?
Some people think that chicken broth just lets the Guinness do its job better.
Okay.
You cook all the alcohol out of it and you don't taste the Guinness, but the Guinness makes a really good gravy.
Sounds amazing.
And so
If
you use chicken broth, it's not as strong as beef broth, and the Guinness comes out more, the flavor of the Guinness, and people like it more. You can use water if you want. It doesn't really matter.
Or veggie broth, I would
Or veggie broth.
If you're putting bacon. Go ahead.
Lately, I've been mixing half veggie broth, really good veggie broth, with a beef or chicken broth, because veggie broth is really fucking tasty. I don't know if people fucking know that. And most broths are not stocks, and stock is something that has vegetables cooked in with it, and broth is just the chicken bones itself, or bone broth or whatever. So it only takes a couple hours. You just brown the meat, pull it aside. Throw in your mirepoix, your onions, your carrots, your celery. And if you don't like any of those things, you can replace any of those things with powder. If you don't, I'm not a big onion guy. So I'll just fucking use onion powder instead of fucking raw onions because I fucking hate raw onions. I just don't fucking like them. Or I'll make.
You can use garlic powder instead of garlic.
Sure.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to buy fresh garlic if it's too expensive or whatever. And dude, just get online, mix it all together like you mix the stew together, and let that shit simmer in a crock pot or for a few hours, or use a Dutch oven, which is what I use, for 2 hours. You can use potatoes. The bacon thing, I don't use pancetta bacon. I don't think it's necessary. That's
okay.
the recipe. If I did use bacon, I certainly wouldn't throw it back into the liquid and soften it up. I would set it aside and use it as a topper because I prefer crunchy bacon the way Rob prefers crunchy fucking waffles. So, dude, it's pretty easy, man. It's cold outside. It's rainy. It's just one of those days to make a stew. And then Rob also told me to stop eating fucking chicken so I didn't get some weird flu. So
I talked to my guy today about that. In fact, I was like, hey, you told me you got your chicken from Indiana. I'm like, I went home and found out they had a giant outbreak. He was surprised.
Yeah. Well,
then
yeah.
I said, I'll take some of that ground meat
for stew. That's all. That's why I'm using Guinness. Guinness makes the stew a little bit different. You could use any bottle of beer if you really wanted. You could use wine if you wanted. You just have to cook the alcohol out of it. Or you could not use wine if you're worried about using wine. If you're Pete Hegseth and you have to stay away from alcohol completely because if you sniff it, you'll start chugging the shit.
You got Herman coming to your house in the morning.
So yeah, but yeah, I would highly recommend making a Guinness stew, an Irish stew.
Sounds really good.
In a can of stout for your flavoring. It's delicious.
Nice.
I like it. We can also put in the show notes if anybody comments or is interested in Gene's famous recipe. Gene, a lot like myself,
not famous.
Take a recipe and make it their own. Add a little bit of this, maybe avoid that, and put some of this in. One way of getting to be a better cook is actually doing it, like it or not.
True. Yeah, you guys should have a cooking channel. Seriously, a YouTube cooking channel. You're both really good.
Bill really changed the way I cooked after him and Mikey used to complain that all of their grilled food tasted like fucking lighter fluid because
that was Mikey.
To fucking make a fucking flame.
You're like Homer Simpson.
So she sat down one day and they had an intervention with me and they're like, "Why does all your food taste like fucking lighter fluid?" And so I learned a lot from that. I was younger then, so
that was Mikey. I was happy with anything anybody was cooking for me.
I appreciate that. I was a new cook then. I didn't know how to cook then. I was still learning. I've had 25, 30 years of experience.
It's crazy, right? That's exactly right.
But you're right. You're right. You get better at it by doing it. I just never do it. I don't do it often enough.
Well, the lucky thing for you is, Billy, we love having you over for dinner.
I know. I'm very fortunate there.
I want to cook more is because fucking people handling my food to me is just fucking gross now. I just
and it's one of those things, the products are somewhat inferior that you're eating out. And I'm not saying I buy the top quality whatever, but I know who's handling it. I can trim what I want. I can eat what I want. I have like 4, maybe 5 overall restaurants I'm willing to go to based on the fact of not wanting to be made sick or just grossed out by the food, which sucks. Frankly, I wish I could go to more places, but it's just not a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I know 2 right off the bat, and I'm not going to mention any names on here. We're not looking to start any fights, but 2 restaurants that you went to where you got violently ill.
For sure.
We never went back to.
Yeah, and then when I called, they were like, "Hey, we'll send you a coupon to come back and try it." First of all, they never sent the coupon, and second of all, are you insane? I'm violently throwing up. Why would I want to come back?
You weren't eating raw foods, were you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So
and my dinner partner didn't get sick either. So that's why I called them and I was like, hey, maybe it's somebody in the back was handling something and touched part of what I had. It might not even have been meat. But when I tried to tell him, he was like, oh, no, that could never be. And I'm like, dude, I'm over the toilet here. I'm trying to do you a favor. Like,
do you guys remember when we all got food poisoning, the whole line? We went to Phipps Plaza and we ate at one of the restaurants in there. And we played the Rams the next day, and we all came in like 2 hours early, throwing up and shitting ourselves. And we ended up playing that game, and we beat the Rams. You don't remember that? I think that might have been my first year there. But I was playing that game because one of the guards was hurt. So I just gotten there, but we'd all gone out together, the whole line. And anybody that ate the seafood dish got sick. Toback was the only dude that felt fine that game. Everybody else, Roman Ford was fucking throwing up. I was throwing up. Whitfield was a fucking mess. I can't remember who the right tackle was then, but yeah, we were all fucked up because we all went out to eat together. And Toback doesn't eat seafood, I don't believe, and he avoided some fucking dish, and he was the only one that survived that.
Holy shit!
So, I can look up the Rams game, but we did win the fucking game. But it was one of the fucking most.
You would remember that part for
I'm
sure.
just terrified of shitting my pants fucking on TV. Dude. Oh my god, that's just a terrible fucking feeling to have that gurgling. Like, is this a fart, a shart, or am I just gonna fucking blow ass here? Right?
Uncontrollable diarrhea.
Well, and
we didn't have those blue tents back then, dude. You're shitting yourself. You're shitting live on TV, and everyone's gonna see that.
Everybody saw that.
And who's cleaning that up, Uncle Bill?
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, you're shitting on carpet. It's not like it's grass.
Oh,
You can water down. They're gonna take a hose out there and water off artificial shit and just spread the fucking fecal matter everywhere. Exactly why I don't go to movie theaters, because the fucking seats are filled with poo.
Fecal
Fecal matter everywhere,
and parents that don't wear underwear.
And we had training camp, and we went down to Cracker Barrel, and you don't miss time at training camp in our position. You go, but I literally ate the chicken and had never been more violently ill. This was more of a sitting problem than the throwing up, but I literally got a pass from work that day, which again never happens.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
And I've never been back to Cracker Barrel since. So that's been a while.
I remember that.
I haven't been to Cracker Barrel since all the fucking discrimination lawsuits. So,
people love it though, for the record.
Fair enough.
Not me.
Not me.
Well, I'm not going.
Do you remember Chi-Chi's?
Yeah.
I remember the restaurant, yeah.
They had the hepatitis outbreak there.
I don't remember that.
You wouldn't hear that today because we don't even talk about tuberculosis. It's just not your business. Okay.
There's a cute little part in one of my producer Melissa's diaries about going to Chi-Chi's when she was a kid, like 12, 13 years old. I don't know why I remember this, but she's
fried ice cream, baby.
No, it's a big deal.
She was reading. I didn't read it. She was reading it to me, by the way. I didn't invade her little diary. I was at Chi-Chi's with my mom getting the chimichanga or some shit.
I love the chimichanga.
And she's like, and then I saw a few Browns players at the other table and their broad shoulders. Ooh. She literally wrote that shit in her like 12-year-old diary. And then his wife, like, and all these years later, she's married to a fucking old lineman because she saw him at the fucking Chi-Chi's in the early 80s. That's why.
In such an impressionable age.
That's broad shoulders. She's laughing right now, but that's a true story.
If it makes you feel any better, when I was like in 8th or 9th grade, I read a book by Jack Tate. I don't even know why I read it. They call me assassin because I hated the Raiders. I was
Jack Tatum, yeah.
And he was knocking Franco Harris, and I think I wrote a letter and I never mailed it. I left it in the book, and I think you found it. I was like, "Hey, Jack Tatum, how do I get to be a pro football player?"
How do I get those broad shoulders like Jack?
Yeah. A letter never sent, sadly, but unfortunately read by my younger brother, who was kind enough not to ever bring it up and make fun of me.
So you both had crushes on NFL football players back in the day. You and Melissa. That's cute. It's very cute.
Yeah, that's cute. I wanted to just finish up the food part from yesterday and Gene's Guinness stew. Tonight at my place, we'll be doing a coconut curry. And I only say that because it's a vegetarian option. You can use chicken. I will fry up some tofu instead, but it's basically quinoa, spinach, tomato paste, a can of diced tomatoes, curry, sea salt, and olive oil. Super simple, very tasty.
Whose curry do you use? What curry? What brand? What do you like to use curry-wise?
I just use whatever the brand is, curry.
I mean, I thought you might have gone to a specialty store.
I did not. I'm pretty, and it's only two teaspoons of curry. I go a little bit heavy. It's not overly spicy, but it does have good flavor. And if you're looking for extra protein with the quinoa, obviously tofu is going to give you some. Probably not as much as Gene's beef, that's for sure. But throw in some spinach for iron, like Popeye. But we talked about it yesterday. I do think cooking is it's a mental place to go it's partially my happy place. And it is a skill that you can pick up and try and master to at least not make yourself sick.
Oh yeah. You guys are both really good at it.
Did you guys see those idiot cakes they were making over in Denmark that looked like Trump?
Yeah.
So again, baking's a good thing. Cooking. Melissa's a baker. I'm the cooker. I'm not really a baker. Baking's more of a science. You have to do that right. And I'm a odds and ends guy, not measuring, and that's not good for baking. So,
Well, and it's
Prince
funny
is a
you
good
say
baker,
that
though.
because when my daughter's home, they'll get out the electronic scale, and I'm like,
Mhm.
absolutely.
but then I'll learn from the generation before us, and they'll be like, "Oh, you never want to when you measure out that flour, you just let it come up. You don't want to pat it down. You don't want it too tight." Which I'm like, a cup's a cup. I got to pack it in there. But they're like, "Oh no, let the air." So
Yeah.
still learning from past generations that also were really good at it.
Oh yeah, no, it's an art and a science.
They're called moron cakes. Is that what you said?
Moron or idiot cakes?
Idiot. Was it idiot cakes?
Says baker in Denmark starts selling Donald Trump moron cakes.
Oh,
Okay,
moron, idiot.
Moron cakes.
Moron,
close.
idiot,
I
whatever.
just remember seeing that the other day.
That's Trump.
So yeah, and I'm sure he's baking because he's got to deal with Trump's bullshit. Trump affects the whole fucking world. It's crazy.
It's
how one
insane,
business
isn't it?
Can make you wake up. I woke up not thinking about that motherfucker for 4 fucking straight years, and then all of a
I know,
sudden
I loved it.
I gotta wake up thinking about him every single day again.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. No fun.
It's no fun.
Really, it's brutal.
Rosen, what are you gonna eat? You're gonna just eat whatever Rob makes you, right?
Mm-hmm. I did. I am, yes.
What's your specialty dish besides opening up a can of tuna?
Opening up a can of whoop ass.
Yeah. No. What do you like? What will you cook as a bachelor man?
Let's see. Yesterday I made a black bean and cheese tostada. That was pretty good.
That's
Just really simple stuff. I mean, wraps, salads, pasta. I got some fake ground beef, like vegetable-based ground beef, and mix it up into a sauce and pour it over some pasta.
You know
That's
how
good.
I could
It's
make
simple.
you actually cook? If I stole your microwave, I could make you cook. That's your problem, is you own a microwave.
You know, I want to, and how sad is this? So I had all these plans, right? With winter coming, I'm going to start like meal planning and slow cooking, making soups and stews. And I had glanced in my cabinet and I'm like, oh yeah, I've got a crock pot. So one day I actually got serious about it and I go up and I grab it, I pull it down. It's a rice cooker. It's not even a crock pot.
They look really different, but I mean, that's what
it was kind of like, it had the general shape and I wasn't looking too closely.
handles.
Like, oh, I got it. Yeah, it's fine.
It had handles, and whatnot. It had a cord you plug in. It's got to be a crock pot.
There's your moron cakes. I'm not really sure.
Moron cakes, yes.
How tasty they are, but
they're only 25 whatever Denmark money is. I don't what are they called? Kronos or some shit?
Is it Kroners?
Kroners? I don't remember.
Or Guilders. Is it Guilders?
When are we going to Amsterdam? We got to do that. I've been to Europe. I just haven't been to Amsterdam.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I love the vibe there. Now, this was years ago, but the sound of the trolley, people on bikes, very cool place.
I remember going to visit Mikey when he was over there with the World League.
Iowa State plays a
time.
game in Ireland next year, but you guys are not Iowa State fans. Who do they play? Pitt?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Melissa.
The Steelers are going to have a game over there too.
Or in Ireland next year. If they play Pitt, we're going to Ireland, fuckers. Fuck you.
Okay.
You both graduated from Pitt. You got half a day, right? We'll fly there, fly back.
Yeah, I worked in the sports information office there, so yeah.
Diddy's plane's got to be available.
You don't hear much about that guy.
Yeah.
Why do all these seats have handcuffs on the handrests?
Oh, they're playing Kansas State. You guys don't follow Kansas State.
Not exactly.
Damn.
Well, maybe the Steelers will be playing the Browns because the Steelers are scheduled to play over there next year.
Yeah,
or this year.
But not the Browns, right?
I don't know. I don't think they've announced it. It hasn't even officially been announced that the Steelers are playing a game there, but it's known to be true.
Speaking of Steelers, what happened to that Mason Rudolph fella that nobody?
He went to Tennessee and started a couple games this year.
He's doing okay. He's thriving.
Well, he's behind Lewis, who was a high pick. Levis, yeah. After they got rid of Malik. So yeah, I mean he's competent.
So where's Malik then?
He went to somewhere and he started Green Bay.
I think it might be Green Bay. Yeah,
I think he started a game up there.
Oh, started a game up there. So he's what's his face is backup. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't pay attention.
I know.
I'm gonna watch the halftime show because Kendrick Lamar's gonna be there. But other than that, I don't see myself watching Kansas City scripted another fucking victory. What's the fucking point in watching that?
I know, right?
Yeah. I don't need to see what's his name? Mr. Hunt?
Clark Hunt?
Clark Hunt.
Clark Hunt.
Yes,
Clark Hunt.
Clark Hunt.
Someone actually named that kid Clark Hunt.
I think it was close to Clark Kent, and they thought he was going to be the next Superman. So
Yeah,
there
His
you have
dad's
it.
name was Lamar.
interesting.
So yeah.
Well, go ahead, Billy.
I was just going to say that. See, here's the thing, man. So I feel kind of bad because I respect Kansas City. I think Patrick Mahomes is an incredible quarterback. The stuff that guy can do, the way he can throw, the way he can move, and you don't get in that position. You don't go to 7 straight AFC Championship games without being good. But
Really good.
man, I'm just tired of them.
Me too.
I don't like that they've got the owner's wife is a big MAGA Bible beater. I don't care for that. I don't care for their kicker.
No.
So I'm kind of torn, man. I respect what they've accomplished. I think it's amazing, but I just have a personal dislike for what that owner and his family, what they stand for. They're just, yeah.
But then we find
I'm
out
torn.
that all 32 teams are owned by billionaires. So it's just a little off-putting.
Not the Bengals.
What's that?
Not the Bengals, right? Didn't you say they're bringing up
$925 million. You're right. Mike Brown is not a billionaire yet.
Go Stripes.
Which is crazy. Wasn't it the Brown family? Didn't Mike Brown have like siblings and shit? What happened to them?
Killed them all, allegedly. Kidding.
Did they die? Shit, that's funny.
I don't know. I think his daughter runs the team,
Running
right?
it?
I think so.
Because she's pretty fucking old.
Do the Bartolos have
Maybe it's a granddaughter.
The 49ers anymore after Ed got booted? Or no? Nothing? They sold the team? Okay.
Dude, that whole thing was kind of fishy, though, because now you've got guys that own several different teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kroenkes, the Glazer family in Tampa. I mean, dude, guys love playing for the Niners. Eddie DeBartolo they loved him. Those guys took the big plane everywhere. They ate better than we did. They stayed in better hotels than we did. Dude, we always took that, unless we were going to the West Coast, we flew on the janky 727.
You're talking about the Atlanta Falcons, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the Atlanta Falcons sucked. The 49ers did not. I mean, that's
Just saying, that's one of the reasons, man. Eddie
D,
those guys love playing for him.
And then all of a sudden they were good. Sorry, Dion, but my teams were better than your teams. So
remember, Dion left and went to the 49ers.
That's true.
Not only won a Super Bowl, but came back and bitch slapped Andre Rison. Remember,
I just watched that fucking the anniversary of that thing was I just watched that not too long ago. So, but that was Andre Rison afterwards. Like, yeah, I was hurt by that. I mean, what do you?
And Dion's like, this is my house. I built this house because remember he had a pick six.
Right.
Yeah.
But
and
that whole my house shit. It's actually a guy called the owner who owns you's house. So that's kind of narcissistic to think it's your fucking house. But he was fucking amazing.
He was amazing. Without him, they don't build that dome. They don't get it built without him.
What are you talking about, dude? Everyone gets a fucking football stadium when they want it. What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. He was the only reason that people came out to see that team.
I disagree. I think fucking Atlanta fans, especially the black fans, were good football fans and good baseball fans until the baseball team fucking moved so far away. They have no black fans anymore.
I agree.
Baseball in general doesn't have
I think that was one of the best people of color cities for pro sports I've ever seen. They had tons more fucking fans than Cleveland does, and Cleveland has plenty of black fans. But I mean, Atlanta had a good black fan base, so I think that shit gets built. I think where Atlanta fucked up is you had the number one black viewership of all of baseball, and you move your goddamn baseball team to the suburb. That is
out to the burbs,
stupid, racist, mean, and fuck you for that. I mean, I don't understand the logic of that. Cleveland's getting ready to move to a very white area, Brook Park. They're going to be the Brook Park Browns. I don't get that. You're going to lose your black fan base by doing that. But I mean, maybe that's what the fuck you want. I don't know. The Haslams aren't from Cleveland. I don't know what their motives are, but I find that disappointing, disheartening, and it is what it is.
Well, dude, NFL Films did a whole thing. They do I don't know if they still do. It was a series called Timelines, right? And they would take a look at a certain year, and they did a deep dive into Atlanta in '91, and they showed Dion when I came to Atlanta, this is the first place I'm coming up from Florida where I saw black doctors, black lawyers, black professionals.
I think the CEO of Coke at the time was black.
Mm-hmm.
Was he black or Hispanic?
I'm not sure. I thought he was African American.
Well, maybe I can't remember. I don't know.
Way to fuck up a story, Rob. Continue, Bill.
Anyway, but no, it was really interesting. And Atlanta was a very black city, man. It was great. You had a lot of stuff going on there. You had a thriving black middle class.
It still is a very black city.
I hope so. I'm assuming so. I mean, it's been decades since I've been back there, but dude, I love living in Atlanta.
I mean,
and the best thing that we ever did was
avoid Buckhead, which was the white part of Atlanta.
We got out of the suburbs. We moved to Midtown.
Right.
Mixed neighborhood, and you really got a feel for the city. It was great.
You're talking about when we lived in that house in Midtown that had the uneven dirt basement with the one giant clown shit down there that scared the shit out of us when we moved in. I remember that place.
Something weird happened down there, and they had that big.
Bought that fucking house. I feel like an idiot for not buying that property.
I know, and there was a rehab next door. I thought about buying, but I didn't know how to do a full rehab, so I didn't. I was
afraid of those old timey houses. They scared the shit out of me with those dirt bait. I guarantee you, dude, something was buried under that fucking dirt. That dirt was half filled up in that basement over in a corner. What the fuck was behind that dirt? It was terrifying.
And for the record, it didn't matter to Uncle Bill because he lived in an apartment where a guy was cut up into little pieces in the basement.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh yeah,
Bill lived in an apartment prior to Atlanta where a man was cut up into little.
I never heard this story.
Oh man,
I heard all of those stories. What was that?
This was in '92 when I was living in Pittsburgh. I found an apartment in kind of in the city. It was near the university, and it was surprisingly affordable. Right, so I moved in, and Rob was helping me move in, and he had a little dog at the time, and it had like a kind of an unfinished basement storage area where the laundry machines were. And that dog, Samantha, would not go down there. You could not drag her into that basement. Something down there was freaking her out. She would not go down. And the place had kind of a weird vibe, right? Like I wasn't comfortable like doing my laundry down there, and I would just, do it and get out of there as quick as I could. But a couple months after I moved in, I worked with a guy at the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and somehow it came up that we were talking about this apartment. He's like, oh yeah, dude, somebody got killed in there. One of the tenants murdered another tenant down in the basement and dismembered him down there.
Ew.
Yeah. That creepy. And I guess, and the killer's stuff was still in storage. Like his bowling ball was still in there.
The bloody bowling ball was still there.
I mean, it was just creepy, dude.
That's super gruesome. How did you feel after you found out about that? How
terrible. Still live there.
I didn't want to be there anymore. And, and I probably could have sued because I think they're supposed to disclose that to you when you sign a lease, before you sign a lease. Like, yeah, a small murder was committed, but
I don't think you have to.
When you buy a house, you definitely have to disclose a murder, but I don't know about rental. I have no idea.
Yeah, dude, that place was creepy.
That is fucking hilarious. Crazy.
Well, I can say that that story is not Uncle Bill's happy ending today.
That is not my happy ending.
But I think it's time for the happy ending. If anybody's not prepared, I'm happy to jump on this real quick.
I'm prepared. I'm making Irish stew. The end.
What?
What's your happy ending?
Well, this has to do with an FDA approval for a Vertex is making a moderate. It's for moderate to acute severe pain. The key to this, which is something that we haven't had in over 20 years, it's the opioid experience without addiction.
What?
I'm not saying, hey, run out and invest in this by any means, but I feel really good that it's the first kind of pain med in decades that we have that's oral and not addictive.
If you see Nancy Pelosi's invested in this fucking stock, jump on that shit.
I was going to say it's too fucking late. It already did its
Follow
run.
her stock trades. If she buys Vertex, jump all over that shit. It's going to be a winner.
The only thing I want to add is that there are 80 million people in the U.S. that are prescribed meds for this moderate to severe pain each year. 80 million.
Dude, that's like a fifth of the country. Are you kidding me?
It's the truth.
Wow.
So to have a game changer like this, where you're not going to be addicted and turn into Brett Favre, allegedly, I think is a real positive. So I'm running with it.
Was he allegedly off the opioids when he sent the dick pic when he played with the Jets, or was that just I'm sober and I'm going to send a dick pic? I don't take opioids anymore. Allegedly.
I'm going to
say he
had
a couple of Guinnesses in him.
Yeah, he maybe had some Guinness stew.
He did not cook off the fucking alcohol. If he did that, he's supposed to cook off the alcohol, folks.
No, he just drank the alcohol and said, "Fuck the stew."
No, that's awesome because pain sucks, and
it does.
Former football players experience a lot of pain. That's why a lot of them end up addictive opioids or alcohol or heroin or whatever they can get their hands on when the doctor won't prescribe them shit anymore. And so anything that can help with legitimate pain is a thing. So
absolutely, it'll give a lot of relief to a lot of people without tempting them into addiction, which you have no control over. That's why it's an addiction. Uncle Bill, on the happy ending, anything good?
Well, let's keep it on the pain train.
Ooh, okay.
I ran into your wife today.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she asked how my shoulder was. I said, it's killing me. It hurts all the time. She's like, well, you know what? You can get another cortisone shot. It's been almost 3 months, so let me know. And that made me happy.
There's hope for pain relief. I like it.
My shoulder fucking hurts.
I would rather eat Irish stew than get a fucking needle in my shoulder.
Oh, sure. And then Gene's going to be sending out dick pics tonight. Great idea.
I do not. I've never sent a dick pic in my life. I'm a Gen X, dude. I'm no fucking fool.
Yeah.
I've never videotaped a sex session. We don't do that shit. We don't do that shit, man.
Agreed. I guess because we didn't have the option of phones to begin with, but
we had camcorders and shit.
That would have been the last thing I would have thought about sharing.
Shit.
Yeah,
we could have set up some shit like Joey in season 7 and Friends. And no, I'm just saying, I've watched too many fucking episodes. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe you're a sitcom junkie yourself.
But old school. I'm going back and watching the ones I never saw or I didn't see all the way through. What we do is we'll watch a season or two and then we get bored. And then we'll get off of it for a decade, and then we'll come back to it, and then watch the whole thing again and have a new appreciation for it. I don't know if it's because we're older, or when you have kids and they're fucking 10 years old, you don't have time to watch Friends, or you're running around playing hockey, I'm running around to soccer and fucking baseball, and you're just busy when you have little kids. So I miss out on all those sitcoms, which I'm revisiting now, and I may give Arrested Development a shot. And
you should.
What else should I give a shot, you think, Bill?
The series that Cole and I just finished, it was like 6 episodes. It was called American Primeval.
Okay. Is that
it was pretty good. Huh?
Is that a comedy?
No, it is not a comedy.
Can you give me something a little
It's
lighter?
far from a comedy.
Well, I did. I don't want the ending. I don't want to be fucking. I don't want dead bodies falling on me. What the fuck?
Oh, that's not the show for you then. It's about the wild, wild west.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. It was good though. It was pretty entertaining.
I know it's one of Gene's favorite, all those black cowboys that he used to
read for. Are you guys skating or coaching?
This weekend will be coaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate getting the weekend rolling, and always good talking to you guys. And I appreciate, as my other happy ending, we didn't dig too deeply into the orange guy. Let's keep that up.
It's always a relief, yeah.
For sure. But people, pay attention, educate yourself. When Dan Rather comes out on Facebook, and maybe you don't know Dan Rather, but he was a famous newsman, and says, find independent sources. You can't trust the establishment right now. Listen, wise guy.
And it just shows how far we've fallen, because at one point, a poll showed that Walter Cronkite was America's most trusted man.
Yeah.
Google it, look him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to keep doing our part to help educate. Okay. Enjoy your weekend. Gene's done the quick goodbye. I can see it. See ya.
Irish